What if this New Year's celebration wasn't just about resolutions and countdowns? What if, hidden in the shadows of the fireworks and laughter, there were secrets waiting to be unearthed, secrets that could change everything you thought you knew? Tonight, we dive into 3 bone-chilling tales that turn the joyous spirit of the new year into a haunting mystery. Are you ready to face the darkness that lurks behind the clock striking midnight? Let's uncover the truth together. New Year's Eve, a time for celebration and renewal. But in the small town of Eldermore, one family discovered that not all traditions bring joy. The Wilkes family had just moved into an old Victorian house. Said to have a peculiar history, locals whispered that the house's clock, mounted high in the parlor, had a strange connection to time itself. On New Year's Eve, as the family gathered for their first celebration in the house, the clock struck midnight. Though its hands never moved, moments later, the lights flickered, and a chilling wind swept through the house. Though all doors and windows were closed, they soon realized that the clock's chimes had stopped time outside their home. Midnight lingered endlessly. At first, the Wilkes were amused by their strange predicament, but as the hours stretched on, unease grew. The youngest child, Emily, said she heard whispers coming from the clock, voices calling her name. Determined to break the spell, the family searched the house and found a hidden compartment beneath the clock. The letter spoke of a watchmaker who cursed the clock to stop time after losing his family on New Year's Eve. To undo the curse, the clock had to be restarted with a matching key, which was missing from the house. With the pocket watch in hand, they wound the clock and waited, holding their breath as it began to tick. Suddenly, the house trembled, and shadows poured from the clock, forming a figure that loomed over them. The spirit of the watchmaker appeared, warning the family that meddling with time had its cost. With a final chime, the clock struck 1, and the figure dissipated into smoke, leaving the house in silence. Outside, the world resumed its motion, but the family was left with an unsettling memory of their frozen New Year. The clock, however, remained frozen at 12:01, a haunting reminder of the night's events. Locals say the Wilkes never spoke of that night again, but some believe the clock still holds power over time. Would you dare celebrate New Year's Eve in Eldermore, knowing what happened to the Wilkes? Perhaps some traditions are best left in the past, and some clocks are better left unwound. Not all New Year's Eve traditions involve fireworks and countdowns. For the small town of Grayspire, the midnight train held a different kind of significance. Every year, at the stroke of midnight, a ghostly train would pass through Grayspire, carrying whispers of those long gone. Locals told tales of passengers who boarded the train and were never seen again. Lured by its eerie charm, this year, Ellie, a skeptical journalist, decided to investigate the legend and uncover the truth. Armed with her curiosity and a knack for uncovering mysteries, Ellie waited for the train to arrive. At exactly midnight, the train emerged from the fog, its whistle piercing the cold, silent air. Ellie hesitated before stepping closer. Her breath visible in the freezing air, the conductor, an ethereal figure in tattered uniform, extended a skeletal hand toward her. Gathering her courage, Ellie boarded the train, determined to document what she found. The passengers were not ordinary. They were shadows of their former selves, frozen in time. Ellie began to ask questions, but the passengers only turned to look at her, their hollow eyes unblinking. One passenger handed her a crumpled note, its message chilling her to the core. The past never forgets. The train began to move, and Ellie realized she was no longer in control of her journey. Visions of her past mistakes and regrets appeared before her, vivid and inescapable. The conductor approached her again, whispering, "To move forward, you must let go." In a quiet town nestled in the mountains, there was a legend about a peculiar clock that only chimed 13 times on New Year's Eve. Locals believed the 13th chime was a portal, offering a glimpse into a parallel world, but only for the brave. This year, Amelia, an adventurous teenager, decided she wanted to hear the elusive 13th chime for herself. As the clock neared midnight, the town square emptied, leaving Amelia alone with the eerie ticking sound. The first 12 chimes were ordinary, but as the clock struck 13, a strange glow enveloped the square. The world around her shifted, and suddenly, Amelia found herself standing in a version of the square she didn't recognize. Everything felt familiar yet wrong, as if she had stepped into a dream or a long-forgotten memory. Amelia noticed someone watching her, a figure standing in the shadows, wearing a cloak and holding a lantern. The figure whispered, "You don't belong here," before disappearing into the fog that crept into the square. As she wandered through the square, she realized the people she passed had no faces, just blank expressions. Amelia stumbled upon a mirror in the middle of the square, and to her shock, it didn't reflect her image. She heard the 13th chime again, this time echoing through the air, and felt a pull toward the clock tower. The clock face began to crack, and through the fractures, Amelia could see her real village, waiting for her return. With a leap of faith, she stepped through the cracks, leaving the strange world behind. As the portal closed, back in her village, the clock struck midnight again, this time chiming only 12. Amelia knew she would never hear 13 again.